What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I am back today to give you a review of the New Balance 740 in this white and marsh green colorway. So this New Balance 740 launched this month in October, and this white and marsh green colorway represents the first general release colorway, but I'm sure there's going to be a ton not only this year, but into 2025 as well. So fun fact, the New Balance 740 originally released back in 2010. Back then, that original version was a performance running shoe, but fast forward almost 15 years later, this is a reinterpretation or a reinvention of the 740, kind of similar to what New Balance did with the 2002. So that was originally a performance running shoe as well, but then they changed up the tooling or the midsole-outsole combination before calling it the 2002R. So in this case, they've done something similar. They've swapped out the original tooling, so it's much more of a lifestyle sneaker nowadays, as opposed to an actual performance running shoe. So the official colorway for this shoe is white, marsh green, and sea salt, and the style code is U740GR2. And these retailed for a very affordable $110 US or 140 Canadian dollars, which makes this a direct competitor with models like the Asics Gel 1130. So this is something I think New Balance really needed, because other than the 740, just off the top of my head, I can really only think of models like the 530, which doesn't have the same level of popularity for sneakerheads as the Gel 1130 does. And from what I've seen on sneaker blogs and sneaker websites, it looks like there's going to be a ton of colorways of the 740, both general releases and collaborations, so I can only assume that New Balance is really hoping that this model takes off. So diving into the details of the shoe itself, starting things off with the toe box, you'll see how the base layer of the sneaker, this is covered in this open style mesh in white. Overlaid on the medial side of the toe box, we have this synthetic silver leather with green colored detailing, and this also covers the front toe cap as well. Covering the eyelets, we have more of this synthetic silver leather, and then the middle two eyelets, they loop through these woven straps, kind of like New Balance's N-Lock technology, and this is colored in a mix of green and gray. Underneath this, on the mid panel, we have more of that open style mesh, and then overlaid on top of this, we have this large New Balance N logo, which is done in a mix of dark green, this pale greenish yellow tone, and silver. Underneath this, we have more of that open style mesh, and then cutting across diagonally towards the heel, we have another synthetic overlay, and we have 740 branding featured on the lateral side only. On the bottom of this panel, you'll see how we have a tightly wound white colored nylon instead, and then on the heel of the sneaker, we have this pale yellowish green synthetic layer with New Balance branding in the middle, and we have this synthetic green colored leather on top. As far as the laces go, so this pair only comes with one lace option, and they're an oval shaped lace done in this off-white color. Underneath this, the tongue is constructed out of that same open style mesh that covers the body of the sneaker. In the middle, we have this woven strip which helps to hold the laces in place, and then running down the top of the tongue, we have this synthetic silver leather with 740 and New Balance co-branding. The back of the tongue and the interior liner of the shoe, this is covered in an off-white colored mesh, and it's pretty thinly padded all around. And then for the insoles, these come with your standard foam lined insoles. We have this cloth finish on top, and we have New Balance running branding pressed onto the heel. So the upper of the 740, at least for this version, it features a different midsole than the originals. So in the original running shoe version, the midsole looked much more complicated and it featured a lot more technology within it, for example, New Balance's energy technology. However, for this lifestyle version, they've really simplified it. It's just a full-length absorbed foam midsole and has a much cleaner look all around. And then for the outsole of the sneaker, so this is constructed out of a dark green colored rubber. We have these nubs on the forefoot along with these grooves to give you some added flexibility, along with New Balance branding in the center. And then on the heel, you can see the exposed foam underneath this, along with these three cored out areas, which to me resembles the look of a tomato when you cut it in half. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this shoe. And for those wondering about how these fit, so in my case, I'm a true size 10, slightly on the wider side. I got these in both a 9.5 and a 10 just to compare the sizing of them. And in my opinion, these do run pretty true to size. So trying on the size 10, the toe box was roomy enough for my slightly wide feet. I had no pressure points anywhere in the toe box. And the length of the shoe was about a thumb's width space between the top of the shoe and the top of my toe. If you like a really snug one-to-one fit and you don't have a really wide foot, I feel like you may be able to go a half size down. For me though, when I tried on the 9.5, my toes could feel the stitching around this silver layer right here, which kind of made it irritating. So because of that, I feel like going true to size is the safer bet. To give you guys a point of comparison, I also wear a size 10 or true to size in other models like the 860 V2, the 1906R, the 2002R, and a lot of the made in UK models like the 1500 and the 991, whereas I go a half size down to a 9.5 in a lot of New Balances made in USA models like the 992, 993, and a lot of the 990 series as well. Next up, in terms of the comfort of this shoe, so overall I feel like it is comfortable, but it's really not reinventing the wheel. My first impression is that yes, it's quite lightweight because of the airy and minimalistic upper, but the underfoot feeling felt a little bit stiff and a little bit firm straight out of the box. But if I had to guess, I feel like this foam will break in over time, and I think eventually it'll actually be quite comfortable. You can feel a little bit of that squishiness already straight out of the box, especially underneath the heel, so if I could bet, I'd say you should really wear in this shoe, break it in, and I feel like the cushioning within this midsole will feel a lot better over time. Finally, in terms of the quality and the craftsmanship, so first off, material quality was really nothing special. Everything on this shoe is just synthetic materials, so we just have meshes, nylons, and synthetic leathers. That makes sense considering the lower price point on this shoe, and when you compare it to the other silhouettes in the similar price point, you're usually getting those same sort of materials on those models too. The build of the shoe though I was quite disappointed in. So first off, on my left foot, you'll see how the stitching on the silver overlay on the toe box, it already has this wavy, rippled look to it, which really bugged me. And aside from that, some of the other panels had some cut marks within them. There were some stains on the nylon around the ankle collar area, and there was a lot of glue stains all over the shoe too. So honestly, this was probably the most disappointed I've been with a New Balance release in a long time. Hopefully I just got unlucky and got a really bad pair, because it's one thing to release a New Balance shoe at a lower price point, but I don't want the quality control to completely fall off a cliff just because we're paying a lower price. So with all that out of the way now, let's toss these on feet, I'll lace them up and I'll show you guys how these look. From a design perspective, I think the shoe isn't bad. It does share a lot of similarities to the New Balance 530, and I know some people were calling this like the New Balance equivalent of a Nike Monarch. I wouldn't go that far. I still think with the right colorway, the design of this shoe can work. I like the sleekness of the upper of the shoe. I just wasn't totally in love with the tooling. It just looked a little bit simple, but I guess in the case for reviving the 740, their intention was probably to try to streamline it a little bit more, make it more simplified and more sleek, to make it more of a wearable lifestyle sneaker. So I'm very curious to see what future colorways New Balance is going to drop, as well as what collaborations are going to drop. In my opinion, that's a true test from a hype perspective, whether the 740 will succeed or not. So leave your thoughts down below, let me know what do you guys think about this New Balance 740 in this white and marsh green colorway. For anyone watching, did you also pick up a pair of these to check them out? Are you waiting for these to go on sale? Or are you just not feeling the look of this shoe and it was a pass for you? As usual, if you guys enjoyed this review, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8, follow me on X at sean.go spelled out, and visit my website at seango.ca. So thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoy this review, and I'll catch all of you in my next video.